I wanted to go over a little bit about the big one last Sunday. You guys got left out of the top four. You're unbeaten, and you did something that Alabama couldn't do. You beat LSU by 21. They beat them by 14. That was one of the things y'all had as well. What was the reaction when you found out Florida State was not going to be in? I mean, I got a feeling it was kind of like, SpongeBob seeing that somebody doesn't like Krabby Patties, the explosion in his eyes.
Yeah, so this is I might get a little heated in this portion right here, but
That's okay, man.
I thought it was a little funny, the college game day when Florida State played North Alabama that morning. Jordan Travis was still fine. He had not got hurt. He got hurt later that night. And they were playing their chaos scenarios. And they said, "Well, what if Florida State wins out? What if Texas wins out? And what if Alabama wins out, beats Georgia?" And Kirk Herbstreit says, "Undefeated Florida State is out. Texas and Alabama are in." That was before Jordan got hurt. And I'm like, oh, he's just trying to get ratings, whatever, get people to watch ESPN, watch the playoff show, etc. And then the next week happened, or that night happened, Jordan gets hurt. Florida State's still 4. They go on the road with the backup quarterback, beat Florida in a hostile environment in a rivalry game. Granted, Florida wasn't any good this year, and they remain at number 4. So I'm like, okay, perfect. We win and we're in. Greg McElroy, on the rankings release show the Wednesday before Selection Sunday said, yeah, they win and they're in. Dan Olstein said the same thing. They win and they're in. All right, so we find out Tate Rodemaker, our second-string quarterback, is hurt. He's out. So we got a third-string quarterback against the number 14 team in the country, and we dominate them with our defense. Offense struggled, I get it, but the defense was dominant. We beat them, and the next morning, I wake up and see our athletic director tweeting out, basically campaigning and politicking to get us in the playoff. And I'm like, this isn't right. Like, something's wrong here. And we're driving home from Charlotte because we were at the ACC title game back down to Florida. I had my wife driving, and I'm watching the selection show on my phone, sitting here watching. And right when 12 o'clock comes on, both McElroy and Dan have changed their stance. Like, no, it's got to be Alabama. And I felt my stomach drop at that point, and I knew we're getting screwed here. And they're going to put Alabama in. And because they're putting Alabama in, they have to put Texas in because Texas had the head-to-head win. And as soon as I saw Texas at number 3, I knew we were screwed. And I knew we were not going to be at number 4. The stage had been set for weeks prior. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it certainly seems like there was a lot going on. And when you consider the facts that Boo Corrigan, the NC State's athletic director, was the chairman of the committee, his brother is a VP of production for ESPN, and ESPN just invested $3 billion in the SEC for the future. Yeah, I have serious questions, and I've been very vocal on Twitter. In fact, I just got blocked by Kirk Herbstreit about 30 minutes ago, which is fine because I never want to see that man in Tallahassee again. But yeah, this whole situation is a joke because they were campaigning to leave Florida State out before Jordan got hurt, and now they're leaning on the stance, oh, if they didn't have Jordan get hurt, they would be in. No, that's nonsense. This decision was made to me weeks ago.
That's just insane. But like one question I've got for the ACC title game, I wonder if Florida State would have gotten in if they had beaten Louisville 49-6, or still will have.
I think we're out regardless. And we kind of talked about it a little bit, how Kirk Herbstreit, he was, before Jordan got hurt, it was saying if Texas and Alabama go undefeated, they get in over Florida State. What do you mean? We have a Heisman caliber candidate right here at quarterback, and you're saying we should be left out? And I don't know if you're familiar with Pardon My Take, but
that's from Barstool Sports.
Yeah, it's the number 1 sports podcast in the world. And Kirk Herbstreit went on there that same week, and one of the co-hosts on Pardon My Take said, if Florida State wins out, the committee has to do the right thing and put them in. And Herbstreit's exact quote was, "I don't care about doing the right thing. I want who I think are the best 4 teams." He was telling us all along what was going to happen. He said straight up, "I don't care about doing the right thing." Exact quote. And that's when I didn't know, because I still had some faith in the committee. That's when I really should have known there's no way we're getting into the playoff, no matter what happens, which sucks because I'd never thought in my lifetime, as someone who grew up in the 90s, Florida State finished in the top 4 every single year in the 90s. I never would have thought we'd be in the conversation being left out to 2 one-loss teams, but it happened. And it shows, in my opinion, again, put the tinfoil hat on, say whatever y'all want. The decision had been made. There was no reason for Florida State to even play Louisville. It was a pointless game. I'm glad we're bringing the trophy back to Tallahassee, and you can hang the ACC banner, which we don't really care about at Florida State because we got plenty of them. We wanted a chance. And that's the thing that bothers me the most. Yeah, I do think Michigan or Washington probably beats Florida State with their backup quarterback. But why not give us the opportunity? Just give these, not us, give the kids the chance who earned it. 13 weeks. And one thing I said is it wasn't just the 13 weeks that they earned it. It goes back to January when it goes back to winter, training drills. It goes through spring football. It goes through summer. Team organized 7-on-7s where the coaching staff can't be there. Fall camp. This wasn't just a 3-month thing. This was an 11-month process that everything they put in, everything they were told to do, they did. And at the end of the day, corporate America says, nah, not good enough. It's ridiculous.
I don't care about the right thing. What a great.
Yep, exact quote.
I feel like I'm just like my mind is still hearing that quote.
I'll DM you the exact video so you can see it. And the way he said it, like he used explicitives, saying it's BS that we're doing the ratings. I don't care about doing the right thing. I want the 4 effing best teams. Like it's trained in my mind.
That's just something. Yeah. I mean, like don't get me wrong, where it's like I love my team, but again, it's like I'm not like 13-year-old me. That sounds like something 13-year-old me.
Well, and that's the thing. I think you could probably make an argument there'd be 11, 12 teams favored over Florida State if they were to play this week. Cool. But did they earn it? Because Florida State did. Washington was a 2-score underdog against Oregon heading into the Pac-12 championship. Oregon was favored by 9.5 points. Washington won. Well, why not send Oregon? They were favored by more. Who cares what happened on the field? That's how Florida State fans feel. We got screwed because they were projecting as opposed to just letting the games play out as they may. In the NFL, can you imagine week 16, the Chiefs are, I don't know, the 4 seed and Pat Mahomes tears an ACL. They've already clinched a playoff spot. And then Roger Goodell comes out and says, no, you know what, Kansas City, you're out. We're going to put, San Diego in instead because we don't think you can win your quarterback. To me, that's the crazy. College football is the only sport in the world where the results on the field don't matter at the end of the day. And I'll say this again, or this for the first time, but there's only been twice in the history of the college football playoff rankings where an undefeated Power 5 team has been jumped by a one-loss team. That was Florida State this year and Florida State in 2014 when Oregon jumped us when we were undefeated and they had a loss.
Oh, yeah, that was the 2014 team where they always found a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that team.
Yep. So that's where we're at.